everybody love Lumines at this table? Did you all play it on PSP?
Mm-hmm. I played the crap.
I didn't play the original, which is why I'm excited about this remaster.
Oh, but you started playing it last night?
Yeah, well, I mean, I played the Vita one, and I love that one. I'm really glad this is coming back because I bought my first PSP was a PSP Go, so I was always waiting for like, okay, one day they're gonna release a digital version of the original Lumines.
Oh, weird. Okay.
What everyone says is the best PSP game.
Yeah.
And they never did. So I threw my PSP Go in the trash. No, I eventually just had to wait until the Vita one.
And threw your PSP Go in the trash for other reasons.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I sold it for my Vita actually.
Okay.
God, I feel so detached because I've never been a handheld PlayStation guy, and so I feel like it's just every once in a while it's a they live situation where you realize everyone around me is a Lumines fan. Like, I don't know anybody that played that, like amongst friends, but there is that crazy fan base. And it came out a little bit when they released it on iOS a couple of years ago. Everyone's like, huzzah, Lumines. And now with the remaster where it's out on Switch, it's out on every console, it's out on Steam. Seems like everybody gets one more go of like, F yeah, this game rules. It's basically, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a Tetris, kind of like a chime. You make blocks and the music's great. Is the overall idea, but
and a line.
Ooh, the lines.
Yeah.
What do you guys like about it?
All the things you said, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it taps into a similar thing that Tetris does, right? That sense of like planning ahead a little bit for pieces that you know may or may not be coming. Mm-hmm. The rhythmic element of the music is interesting because it changes how the game sort of responds.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not just like a soundtrack. It's the fact that with different songs in the background, the sweep might go across the screen faster or slower, or the blocks might drop faster or slower.
Or during the shake your body skin, it becomes very intrusive of what they want you to do.
Yeah.
And how it appears on the screen, basically cluttering up the interface a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of the challenge is like dealing with like the different visual anomalies of different skins too. I don't know the name of it. There's one in particular that like, it's really hard for me to discern the difference between the two colors. Uh-huh. So, cause like one's kind of grayish and one's kind of grayish blue.
Impossible.
Anyway.
There's one that's just circles instead of squares, and that one always trips me up for whatever reason. It feels like the game becomes worse when that skin, like, even though it's just completely visual, just like having to match up circles instead of squares, like throws me off for whatever reason.
It's funny.
And everyone sort of has their nemesis skins also, right?
Oh, really?
And it's not the same for everyone, but like everyone has those one or two when they come up and it's just like, oh no, not this one. And then you just sort of like grit your teeth and get through it and hope to get to the next one.
But like most of the skins are like, aesthetically like really nice.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Wonderful.
Some of them are just harder. I think harder for certain people to get through.
Yeah. So. It's funny. They released that Switch version and Mizuguchi, he's the guy with Res Infinite where they made like the full vibrating suit thing that like traveled around to shows. I got to play it in like a Tokyo art museum, which was a very surreal experience. And then for the Switch version for Lumines here, you can sync up 8 Joy-Cons. So you can have them all HD rumbling across your entire body. If you want to shove a couple in your shoes, 3 up your butt, 1 in your mouth. Like it's just such a weird idea.
I think his dream is to transform into that monster from Jacob's Ladder who was just vibrating so much you just see him in the back of the cars that's driving away.
No. Not familiar, but I'm sure it's a killer reference. What is Jacob's Ladder?
You see Jacob's Ladder? What the f*** is wrong with you?
No, what is that?
It's just like one of the best psychological horror movies ever.
Really? Is it like some 70s stuff?
No, it's what's his name? Tim
Allen.
No, God.
Murphy.
You ever seen Jacob's Ladder?
No. Has anybody at this table seen Jacob's Ladder?
Actually,
it's basically...
Oh, Leo in the booth! Is Jacob's Ladder good?
It's so good.
Yeah, it's basically Silent Hill is a huge like offspring of that.
Oh,
if you watch that, if you like hospitals with chain link fences and all that weird like visual aesthetic, it comes from Jacob's Ladder. The whole like sensibility of like character like vibrating and looking super trippy, that's from that. Yeah.
Oh, really? Podcastgameinformer.com with your review of Jacob's Ladder after you watch it, after Jeff
Please
Cork demands
feel free to like blast Ben Hansen for never.
I've heard it referenced, but I've never heard like no, seriously, you need to watch it about Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, there we go. Lumines Remastered, good time. And it's cheap too. It's like
$15.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. There's
like
nothing
Netflix
about
for 2 months and you could probably watch Jacob's Ladder.
there's nothing in particular about this version from the time that I spent with it that is like, oh wow, this is leagues beyond previous ones for whatever reason, but it's like I can play it on a different
They made
system.
the last one for the Vita.
And they got all the songs in there again. I think some fans were worried they're going to cut stuff, but it seems like those are intact.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an in-depth list, but I know it hit all my favorites.
Okay. Awesome. That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.